Sometimes one kind of love really cannot be used to measure another kind of love. Some love, if you are not the person involved, you simply cannot understand it. Why not choose to let it go because we hope that we will be happy? Let's love well while we can love. Don't let your love wait too long, and don't let your happiness wait too long. Every time in the dead of night, I feel lonely and sad. A lonely heart is fragile. I always see other people facing each other, and I feel that a person is so lonely, but sincerity is no longer there, and sincerity no longer counts. You are like a mountain standing in front of me, but you never give me the chance to step over. I know this is my imagination. I said those words to myself, knowing that he would just turn a blind eye. But I still feel that we still have hope. I love him, but when the night ends and he disappears, the river becomes an ordinary river again. Without him, everything around me has changed. The language is also dyed black, and there is nowhere to express my emotions. I can only smile and put away the unshed tears, accept it by myself, feel helpless in the silence, no matter how much helplessness there is. The sadness after the flowers, I can no longer think about it. You will not know my past despair. So you will not understand what do tears represent? The tears in the dark night are only for myself to see. Like an empty soul flying in the darkness. No noise. No hustle and bustle. There is only pain. Unknowingly, we have become the most beautiful passers-by in each other's lives, wandering in the world with our own sorrows. In the same city, under two similar roofs, there's the same sunrise and sunset, the same firewood, rice, oil, and salt. When you are drinking and drinking, will you suddenly think of someone and make your heart tremble for a moment? I may fall in love with another person in the future, just like I fell in love with you at the beginning. Maybe except for you, I will never meet anyone who can make me feel my heartbeat. In the end, I can only bury you in my heart. When youth passes, many things will be changed beyond recognition. Maybe you will be the biggest regret in my heart, but I am always grateful that you came to my youth. There is a person who you will check to see if he is online as soon as he is online. If he is not there, you will feel lost, and you dare not disturb him if he is there. There is a person who you can't help but look at his space, even if there is nothing new. There is a person you can really give unconditionally, but he doesn't care about you. There is someone who you are so reluctant to let go of, but he is so free and easy to care about. There is someone who you always say you want to let go of, but you can't help but savor it. A person who has been single for a long time will not want to fall in love and will feel that friends are more and more important. A person who has been single for a long time will not want to go shopping and will prefer listening to music at home more and more. A person who has been single for a long time will become when you mature, you will love your parents more and more than before. When a person has been single for a long time, he will buy a lot of shoes and travel to many faraway places. When a person has been single for a long time, he will shed tears inadvertently and quietly, and what will happen in front of everyone? It doesn't matter. Everyone may have fallen in love with someone who didn't love him back, and he will never forget the tears he shed and the grievances he suffered at that time. Many years later, looking back, what is it about him that is worthy of me? In the long-distance race of life, I was much better than anyone he liked at the time, but he didn't understand how good I was. How silly. Why didn't you tell him at that time, there will be a day when you will love me, but by that day, I will no longer love you. Yearnings overflowed the sea of memory, smoke spreads into disasters, and the love of a lifetime wanders and wanders in the dreamy years. Some love is destined to be a flashy dream and turn into dust. The persistent love in the past is scattered to the end of the world, but the heart is unwilling to leave. A burst of lovesickness turns into tears, and the makeup will eventually disappear. At that time, who will still stand in the old time with condensed eyebrows and be a bunch of dust in the humble love? At first, I naively thought that as long as I devoted myself wholeheartedly, I would be able to impress you, but in the end I discovered that I was the only one who was impressed. Then I persistently believed that as long as I moved forward regardless of everything, the road would continue to stretch, but as a result, I knew that my journey had come to an end. Now I understand that losing someone is just a process in life. We will always see the most beautiful scenery in the deepest despair. I choose to forget just to live a better life. You don't understand that kind of pain, and you don't care. It's like we are people from two worlds, just passers-by. I can see through your indifference and indifference. I can only bear the hurt caused by you. You break my heart again and again. At that moment, I finally discovered that love is a torturous game, and the one who loves the most loses the most. If a person is not free, it is because he does not want to be free. If a person cannot leave, it is because he does not want to leave. If a person makes too many excuses for you, it is because he does not want to care. I think we can keep going. I thought you would always be that sunshine, the sunshine of love that never sets in my world. However, you walked with me through the cold winter, the lush spring, and the hot summer, but you turned around and walked away. A sad me is left behind, watching your departing back with tearful eyes. Love is not a game because we can't afford it. Love means giving sincerely and treating each other sincerely. Don't talk about love easily. The debt you owe is the promise you made. Love cannot be found when it is lacking, nor can it be replaced when it is tired. To love someone, you don't have to own them, but if you own someone, you must love them well. Love is not a one-person drama, but a rivalry between two people. Women are fickle with their faces, but men are fickle with their hearts. Injury is everywhere and all the time. I'm just glad that in my world as clear as glass, my injuries have gradually become well-trained and manageable. When you have no time to take care of it, bury it quietly. When you can't stop it, let it surge forward, no matter singing or dancing. When you are tired and exhausted, everything will return to normal. There are always people around you. You see her happy all day long, as straightforward as a child, and everyone envy her. In fact, how do you know she is crying in grief one second, and the next second she is crying sadly? Everyone is immediately filled with bright smiles. In fact, they have no ability to do anything. In the dead of night, they always sit in front of the window and stare at the night sky, meditating on the pain of frustration. They are like sunflowers, always bright and bright on the front facing the sun, but hiding deep sadness on the back where the sun cannot shine. Why are others enthusiastic about you? It's simple because you don't belong to him yet, because you are still fresh, and because there are benefits in you. In relationships, people are always very enthusiastic at the beginning and then become more and more indifferent after getting it. There is no need to care too much. This is human nature. The point is, he doesn't leave you after the passion wears off. In fact, we are close to each other, but even after becoming more and more dull, we still can't do without that person. Many days I fall in love with sadness, the sadness of being alone, the sadness of being alone in the middle of the night, sad music, sad words, looking for the resonance of my heart. It is always too easy to rely on one person, and as a result, I often fall into loneliness. X due to loneliness. If you care too much about someone, your mood will often be affected, leaving only heartache. Why it's sad, I don't know, it's just all of a sudden. At that moment, you finally find that the person you once loved deeply has disappeared from this world as early as the day you said goodbye. The love and longing in my heart are just memories of what I have had in the past. I think some things can be forgotten, some things can be remembered, some things can be done willingly, and some things can never be done. I just discovered, friends who used to be together all day and night are now sharing jokes about people you don't know, posting photos of people you don't know, taking different classes from you, and talking about things you don't know. I understand the professional terminology, prepare for speeches, debates, and outings that are different from yours, and start a life that is completely different from yours in a different city from yours. Your intersections are constantly decreasing, and I will be sad to some extent, but as long as just be good. A person is always a little uneasy. A person is always a little sad, a person is always a little lonely, a person is always a little nostalgic, a person is always a little lonely, a person is always a little lonely. There is a little bit of loss, a person always has a little helplessness, a person always has a little hesitation. In love, we tend to lose ourselves. We care about what the other person thinks and ignore our own feelings. We value love above all else and let our moods rise and fall in love. We always think that being young and beautiful can save love. And we try our best to look at things on the surface. Pretend to be yourself, like to let the other person decide everything, even if you are extremely unwilling. Love that loses itself is lifeless. When you can't discern the direction of love, the door of love has been closed to you. You may love many people, but only one person can make you laugh the brightest and cry the saddest. To me, everyone should smile brightly, but I don't know who gives me the brightest smile. Crying is common, but I don't understand grief, who makes me sad the most. It's just that my heart hurts so much. I don't feel the pain anymore after that. I can't remember clearly those mottled lights and shadows. Above the heart, the years have passed by and the face has gone by. Those beautiful things that used to be beautiful are like fireworks. They bloom in an instant, illuminate the earth, and win applause. However, they disappear in a flash. Fireworks are easy to cold. After the brilliance, there is boundless darkness. Think about it carefully. How far is the distance between two hearts? The Mid-Autumn Festival is a sad festival with a touch of homesickness, a deep longing, and unstoppable tears filling my eyes. When I am alone, no matter how beautiful the moonlight is, it still reveals the coldness, not to mention the Mid-Autumn Festival without a moon, as if it has already abandoned by the world, even the moon has disappeared. I don't even have a shadow. How can I be miserable? Suffering is not suffering, happiness is not happiness, it is just a temporary obsession. If you cling to one thought, you will be trapped in that thought. If you let go of one thought, you will be free in your heart. Some people and some things are hard to come by and cannot be forced. In this case, just relax and let nature take its course. Things change with the mind, situations are created by the mind, and worries all arise from the mind. No matter when and where you are, you must have a free and at ease heart, maintain an open-minded attitude, and do not let yourself live too tiredly. When love has become a wall painted thousands of years ago, you realize that everything is out of reach. At this moment, learn to forget slowly and learn to watch the four seasons alone. A person's sky may often rain, a person's night may feel lonely, and now a person's eternal life is also a beautiful and moving legend. Walk your own path. Why force others to share your joys and sorrows with you? Why force someone to celebrate with you when your own pain is in your heart? What life has created for me is self-improvement, and what youth has given me is perfection ahead. When there are songs, sing happily, and when there are tears, flow happily. The outcome of life doesn't always have to be sunshine. I miss the road traveled and the beautiful feelings of the past. Nowadays, whose waiting has blurred the years and whose love has aged their appearance. Heaven and man are separated forever, and we will never see each other again. I often imagine that if there is a paradise, I will be the first visitor in paradise. If there really is a heaven, I will put down everything in reality and go to accompany her, because I really miss her. It turns out that I didn't know that missing someone can be so painful, and so painful that it can break your heart. There was a sincere love in front of me in the past, but I didn't cherish it. I regretted it only when I lost it. The most painful thing in the world is this. If God could give me another chance, I would say 3 words to that girl: I love you. If I had to put a time limit on this love, I hope it would be 10,000 years. In our life, we have to experience many things and get to know many people, but the soul is like a sieve. In the chaos of the world, some people will slowly be missed. However, for wise people, what they miss are only the faults and shortcomings of others. They will not deliberately remember a person, but will remember the good and kindness of others and always fill their own grateful heart. A tolerant and generous life will make it easier for us to feel joy and peace. If you miss the sunrise, you can wait. If you miss the beautiful scenery, you can come again. If you miss the shooting stars, you can wait. If you miss the love, you will not come back. Cherish the people around you, especially the ones you love and the people who love you. If losing is painful, are you afraid of giving? If being lost is suffering, will you choose to end it? If pursuit is painful, will you choose to persist in pursuing it? If separation is painful and the pain of longing for each other across the world, who is the only confidant you confide in? Many things are truly understood in the end. There are many things that I didn't feel confused at all at the time, but in the end I couldn't find the way back. Sometimes in life, it is always ironic. If If you turn around, you may be gone forever. It was promised forever, but somehow it fell apart. In the end, after much thought, I couldn't figure out the reason why we separated from each other in the first place. Then you suddenly realize that feelings are so fragile. We can withstand the wind and rain, but we cannot withstand the ordinary. We are in the same boat with the wind and rain, but the weather will separate. In fact, everyone has an unknown story. In fact, everyone will be fragile and want to stop. In fact, everyone will want to stop. In fact, everyone wants to fulfill the promise of Zung Jin with someone. In fact, everyone can smile and then turn around and shed tears. In fact, whose life is somewhat bitter and goes through ups and downs. I just want a little less sadness and a little more joy. A strong person is your best friend. A strong personality is your pump when you are timid, your crutch when you fall, and your horn when you charge. I am aware of my own pain, self-understanding of my own sorrow, and self-feeling of my own joy. Maybe the hell in my own eyes is the heaven in the eyes of others. Maybe the heaven in my eyes is the hell in the eyes of others. Life is so funny. I am willing to plunge deeply into life, suck out the marrow of life, live a solid and simple life, cleanly eliminate all the information that does not belong to life, and push life to the extreme. Simple and basic form, simple, simple, no matter how simple. When tomorrow turns into today and yesterday and finally becomes a day that is no longer important in our memory, we suddenly find that we have been pushed forward by time without knowing it. This is not a stationary train with neighbors. When the trains cross each other, it seems like an illusion that we are moving forward, but we are actually growing and becoming another self in this matter. When we have no money, we say we will hit the road when we have money. When we have money, we say we will hit the road when we have time. When we have money and time, we say we can't let go of our current work and family. We are afraid of losing our job, afraid of being alienated, and afraid of the difficulties when we return. When we have no money and no time, we complain again. Over and over again, he becomes a person who cannot understand himself. Love is just a piece of white paper filled with writings. Once it is torn apart, it can never return to its original appearance. Some things are suitable to be kept in the heart. It is said that seeing each other is better than missing each other. This is really true. Many things have passed away, and no matter how much unwillingness and complaints they have become stories. You are silent and waving in the wind. I am far away, silent and soundless, a lonely road leading to both ends of life. Perhaps the human heart is just a flower that falls without wind, withering in the wilderness of time and drifting with the tide. If you care too much about someone, your mood will often be affected, leaving you with only heartache. If you often miss someone, your shadow will be blurred, leaving only a few vague fragments. There are only those few scenes in the memory, but they are entangled. Now, I live quietly alone and miss you silently. Without you, there are no quarrels, no tears, and no joy. Some people will always be engraved in our memory. Even if we forget his voice, his smile, and his face, the feeling every time we think of him will never change. Thinking is a kind of pain. Thinking is a kind of suffering. Wanting to see but not being able to see is a kind of deep pain. Your meteor-like life and meteor-like love have left me with star-like yearning and obsession. She has already tied him to her heart, written it in her dreams, hidden it in a book, and locked it in her little house of pale melancholy and obsessed love. Because of love, you gave him the right to hurt you. The person who makes you cry until you are heartbroken is the person you love the most. The person who makes you laugh heartlessly is the person you love the most. In your life, do you want to laugh until your heart breaks, or cry until your heart breaks? Maybe what makes a relationship depend is not time, but the touching feeling of each other. And the feeling that can bring about that touching feeling is often something we haven't gotten yet. Looking back in the dust, leaving nothing to be done in life, those green years just go further and further with the pace of the years. What gets old is the years. What never gets old are the engraved scenes of seeing you, a memory in my memory. A relationship is stranded, but it takes a lifetime to remember it. I don't like talking, but I talk the most every day. I don't like laughing, but I always laugh. Everyone around me says my life is so happy, so I think I am really happy. But why do I suddenly become silent in a large group of friends? Why do I feel sad when I see a similar figure in the crowd? When I see the trees losing their leaves crazily in autumn, I forget to speak. When I see the warm yellow lights on the road as the sky gets late, I feel sad. Forgot one's original direction. If one day I am no longer in your life, please remember how good I was to you. If one day I am no longer in your memory, don't forget every minute and second of our encounter. When a person is used to another person, even if there is no like and love, he will still feel lost and sad. There is no such thing as fairness in the world of love. The days when we are together will be the most beautiful memories of my life. Love doesn't know where it started, but it goes deeper and deeper. The oath is still in my ears, but my beloved is no longer in sight. How could I have known that it would take me a lifetime to forget you who I turned around to leave? Some people say that whoever lets go of someone's hand will suffer more than the other. It was only when I looked back at the past that I realized that the origin and destruction of everything was torture. In fact, there is always a person hidden in everyone's heart. Maybe this person will never know it. However, this person can never be replaced by anyone. And that person is like a scar that will never heal. No matter when, as long as it is lifted or touched lightly, it will hurt. In this world, there is destined to be no one who is who forever. Why should I hold on to my pale declaration and be scarred on the road so that my soul can't find its destination? With me for life, there are only words which record my past, my memory. The familiar faces that I passed by in the past, the traces of my past injuries, the past that I didn't want to forget, and the memories of the past. That year, you said you liked this city, so I came with you with my luggage. That year, you said you liked my long hair, so I kept it for you. That year, you said if you can't give me a future, I'll let you go. Today, I am still in this city, still have my long hair, but I am still single. But dear, those are things in the past. I want to cut my hair and say goodbye to the past you. Regarding love, I only understand whether it is worth it or not. If it is not worth it, just throw away. Love or not love is just an emotion at the moment and has no value. Hard work must be paid, but love that does your best leaves only scars. Don't think that I am arrogant and indifferent because your love is too thin. During the holidays, I would stand somewhere on the rooftop of the school and look at the sky and the empty roads. Don't know where to go. That moment, my heart is emptier than an empty road. There are many encounters in life. Those encounters make us unforgettable throughout our lives and become permanent traces in our hearts. The most unforgettable thing among them is the encounter with you, intertwined in the gap between chance and necessity, intertwined into an eternal and unforgettable imprint. Never regard the past as lonely because you will never look back. Find ways to improve this moment because that's who you are, and have the courage to move forward into the future without fear. Loneliness is something we are born with. When the prosperity dissipates and our appearance grows old, all that will be left with us is loneliness. It's just that we are used to loneliness, just like we are used to breathing, and it will not change because of a temporary change. Forget and stop. Loneliness and joy are two overlapping platforms on the road of life. Loneliness does not mean abandoning the world of mortals, lamenting the warmth and coldness of human relationships, nor is it depression, and joy does not mean being greedy for fame and fortune and following the wheels of the world. There is no reason to like someone. His efforts without regrets are all considered worthwhile as long as he can be with the person he loves. In fact, there are some people like this around us, but we haven't discovered it yet. The people who understand you best will always be by your side to protect you and prevent you from feeling any grievance. The people who truly love you will not say a lot of words to love you, but I will do a lot of things to love you. Sip tea by the window, savoring the bitterness of the years, the incompleteness of life, and the faint taste of sadness, staring into the smoke, petals flying, thinking about the stillness of the night, swallowing the bitter pill of memory. Throwing away the prosperity and collecting the joy, and facing the waning moon alongside, sighing to say goodbye to sorrow and hatred of impermanence, a curtain of dreams, the words in the heart turn to ashes, the paper is full of lovesickness tears. Who can I tell you to listen to, and who can understand it? There is a person, once you fall in love, it ends. There is a sentence, you regret it after you say it. There is a hurt, it becomes numb after the pain. There is a heart, after it trembles, it is broken. A love, it is too deep. The play is over when it is over. When you are at a road intersection, you make the wrong choice if you are in trouble. Some things will deteriorate if left for a long time. Some things will deteriorate if they develop for a long time. Some feelings will depreciate due to the distance of time. Love is so short, but it takes so long to forget.